All right, so what are some signs that you are just wasting your time trying to get back together with your ex? That's what this video is going to be about. Hey there, it's Clay with modernlove.life. And again, today we are talking about 5 signs that you're just wasting your time trying to get your ex back. Now, as I said in an earlier video, I don't really like to paint someone into a corner and say, hey, you're just wasting your time. Talk to lots of people. I've seen situations where it's like, seems pretty rough. I don't know about that guy. But then, I get an update months or a year later, and it's like, oh yeah, we're married now, we're having a kid, we're back together. And so I know better than to really write someone off. But at the same time, when I'm talking to someone on a coaching call or something, I will often get this sense that this person obviously signed up because they want some help, but it seems like nothing I'm saying is really getting through to them. I'm not sure if they're really going to be able to make it. I'm not sure if they're really going to be able to do it. Many times, it's not necessarily due to the fact that their situation is hopeless. It's due to the fact that they're just not in a place where they're really wanting to do this, where they're really wanting to make the change. You have to be ready to take control of your relationship and do what you need to do to move it forward. Because like I said before in the other video on signs that you're going to be successful, it's like a gym. Gyms don't succeed or fail. It depends on the person's drive and motivation when it comes to how they show up at the gym, when it comes to how they exercise or whether they don't. The first sign that you could potentially just be wasting your time with all of this is if you're looking at this solely from a level of what should I do next? What should I text next? What should I say next? And I get it. There's a lot of people that are in a lot of sort of high stakes situations where there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of okay, what do I do now? But as long as you're just at that level, you're just at the reaction side of things. You're not going to be able to really make any big progress towards really embodying the kind of energy that you're going to need in order to have a sustainable long-term relationship. You might be able to get over the hump and get them to text you back or get them to talk to you or get them to accept your apology or something. But what's going to happen next? What's going to happen down the road? There's always going to be another thing. And if you're not prepared to just deal with all the things all at once in one fell swoop, then you're just going to be stuck managing one crisis after the next. Because what happens when you get back in touch, maybe you figure it out, but what happens when maybe they misunderstand the thing that you say next week, now the two of you are fighting again? Or what happens when they make a friend of the opposite sex who starts hitting on them and they get confused? What happens when you open up and share something with you and they take it personally and they blame you for something? What happens then? There's always going to be another thing. And so I don't want you to be looking at this as just managing things, managing what to say next, what to do next. There's a deeper level than that, and I think we've covered that in many of the recent videos over the past, month or so. I'd really recommend you check out this video playlist up here on your way of being, on your energy, on how you're embodying things so that you can be proactive rather than reactive to what they say or what they do. The second sign that you are probably just wasting your time with your ex here is you, and probably them as well too, are seeing each other as more opponents rather than as being on the same team. Now, when it comes to working with people and coaching and all that, typically one of the first things that I'll do with a client is to get a sense of where they are in their relationship. And one of the things I'm really listening in for is, are they on the same team or not? Because if you're not on the same team, if you think that you need to walk on eggshells around your ex, or you have to overanalyze what you're going to say or what you're going to do or what they're saying or doing, or trying to, read them to tell what their intention is rather than just asking them, that's a big clue that you're not on the same team. And relationships can suffer a lot when the two people aren't on the same team. So we really, really, really want to make sure that we're getting on the same team. And that's what we talk about in effortless connection, and that's why we talk about the same team conversation and all that stuff. So we really want to make sure that we're doing that. The third sign that you're just wasting your time with all of this is if you and your ex just aren't compatible with one another. Don't get me wrong, you could probably get back together with your ex if you are incompatible, but it's not going to be a good experience. It's not going to be a positive experience. It's not going to result in a long-term relationship or anything like that. So we want to be intentional about this. We want to say, okay, if I was going to get back together with this person, would this be a great relationship? Would this be what I want? Or would it just be more of the same drama unfolding day after day, week after week, month after month? Would we actually be able to get past our differences? Like maybe you want kids, maybe they don't want kids, or vice versa. Or maybe you want to live in a certain place and they don't want to live there, or they want to live somewhere else. Is that something that you can handle? Or maybe if the two of you are together, that means that you have to, alter your relationship with your family. They have to alter their relationship with their family. If that's not okay, if that's causing the two of you to be incompatible in some way, like, stop. Do not advance forward. Do not keep going here, because you're just going to create more suffering for yourself. You might be able to get back together, but even if you do, it's going to be a shallow victory, because you're not going to have the great relationship that I want for you, and I imagine you want for yourself as well too. I hear people talk about their breakup with someone who might have like narcissistic personality disorder or something, and like if you don't know what these people are like, I mean, seriously, just go ahead and read some stories that you can find online about hey, this is what it's like to be in a relationship with a narcissist or something. It's haunting. It's terrible, really. These people with narcissism, you're not going to be able to have a great relationship with them. You might be able to get back together, but you're going to be walking on eggshells. You're always going to be wrong. You're always going to, get dumped on and put down and all that sort of stuff. And that's probably not what you're wanting. Can that person change? Can that person get their act together? I don't know. But if they do, it has to be their own choice. There's nothing you can do or say that's going to magically get them to chill out and be a great partner. If you see some progress from them, okay, cool, we got something to work with there. But if they're just doing what they're normally doing and not changing in any way, then okay, what are we doing? Where's this going? What's this all about? If you're miserable with them, you got to say, okay, even if we're together, it's not going to be great. So why don't I just accept them for who they are and say, hey, that's not what I want in my life. That's not the way I want to feel. I just need to let go emotionally and create the space in my life where I actually can bring someone into my life who can love me for who I am, who can appreciate me, who's not just going to use me for some sort of narcissistic supply. I mean, of course, like the whole narcissism thing is an extreme example, but there's all sorts of other things, right? There's all sorts of other ways that we might be incompatible with one another. Sign number 4, that you're just wasting your time here, is if you're really stuck in this way of being reactive. If you just are waiting for your ex to do something, waiting for your ex to say something, and then you're just going to react to it, that's not going to be something that's going to give you long-term success. Because again, like we're talking about, this isn't about just managing what they're saying or doing, because this is a much bigger game than just figuring out how to text them the right way. I know there's people out there that say, you can use simple text messages to just get your ex back, or use reverse psychology or something, or whatever. But I think we all know that isn't going to work. I've talked to a lot of people who have tried those things, even after I've cautioned you against them. They have been, let's just say, less than satisfied. Although I don't know. Maybe there are some people out there that are satisfied, and obviously they stop searching for an answer at that point, and so I don't hear from them. I've read a lot of those things because a lot of these people that put together these programs will send copies of them to me, hoping that I'll recommend them to you. It's like, okay, if you listen to anything that I've said on my videos, like, we're obviously not aligned here, but they'll do it anyway because I think they just are trying to make a quick buck or something. And I've read through them, and like I would not recommend them. I don't recommend them because I know that they're not going to work. If they do work, it's going to be temporary. If they do work, it's just going to get you from one crisis to the next crisis, and then you're not going to know what to do. And so we have to do this on a deeper level. So if you're just really stuck being reactive, and you're not willing to take that step towards being proactive, then you're probably just wasting your time. I'm going to be honest with you on that. But you can always choose. You can say, hey, maybe I have been reactive in the past, and I see now that's not the right path for me to take. And I see now that I need to change and be proactive in this. And if that's the case, then awesome. Like, we got something to work with here. That brings us to sign number 5 here, which is if you are stuck embodying the same energy that's not working, you're probably just wasting your time. If the wedge between you and your ex is there because of anxiety, or because of insecurity, or because of, I need validation in some way, or because of whatever else it could be, then you're probably just going to bring that same energy into your dynamic. And it's going to cause more problems, as the two of you connect more, even after you get back together. And if that's what happens, then that same energy is going to draw and pull your relationship apart again. It may sound kind of cheesy, but getting your ex back isn't necessarily the hard part. It's keeping them. And I know that might not be a very nice thing to hear right now, because you might be like, well, it's really hard for me to even just get them back in the first place. And you're telling me that's the easy part. Kind of, yeah. Because you have to be able to change the dynamic. You have to be able to really mix it up. You have to be able to really pull things in a new direction. And if that's going to happen, you've got to change your way of being. You've got to change your energy. You've got to be proactive on this. You can't just do the bare minimum to get things in a good place and then take it easy, slack off. You've got to do this the right way. If that is something you want to do, if you want to do things the right way, be sure to check out this video playlist over here on our way of being, on our energy. And that's going to give you a good start on doing the hard work that you need to do to have the great relationship that you want. You're going to be proactive, you're going to do this the right way, and it's going to start right over here. See you over there. Take care.